Hello, this is a quick tutorial to explain how to get started with the new Firebase cloud function features. I will show how to install it, how to implement it on a very simple function, and how it helps us to increase the functionality of our Firebase hosting system. The main objective of this feature is to allow us to reduce the dependency on the device itself and allow the system, our project, to execute a number of back-end computations on the Firebase system. The cloud functions is probably going to become a very important feature and element of the Firebase system, so it's good to know how to use it. Because it just came out a month, 2 months ago, so we have to be aware of the fact that we can find a few bugs, but bear with us, okay? It's a feature that it can be shown as a very powerful feature. Okay, so to start off with this, we will depend mainly on the tutorial that already appears in the web page. Okay, I will do all the process, okay, to show you how to correctly install the hosting on the computer, and I will also show you some tricks on how to incorporate, for example, external libraries like GeoFire into the functions. Okay, so we can, for example, do some kind of calculation process to find some positions on the GPS on a certain path in our database. So we don't have to do it on the device. We can depend on the server. Okay. So to start it correctly, I will first we have to install npm, okay, the Node.js system. Being it, we have to download it. Okay, so to do that, well, it's not in this page. It should take us there. What you have to do is download the version. Well, I will download the current one. I will save it on the computer. Yes. And I will execute it. Alright, let me bring it to this screen. Okay, so the process is simple. For those who already installed this, the npm, you can jump these few seconds. The idea behind it is to, once you have Node.js installed, we can use the Firebase JS app already created for this occasion. The Firebase already implemented the system for their hosting services that already allow us to download all the backend to our computer and work on it locally and later to commit it on its remote system hosting, right? But the functions themselves are precisely are a part of that hosting system that we will download, we will modify it, and we will upload. All right. So once it's installed, we go back to our tutorial they offer, and before we call the installation of the Firebase tools, we should prepare a section in our computer, or I will create it in documents, a section in the computer that will represent the backend of our project. So in documents, I will create a directory called, in this case I'm using the test project, so I'm going to call it Firebase FB test project back for backend. Okay, so I created it. I'm going to go into it. FB test project back. Right. So now I'm inside the directory, and I will execute what they tell me to execute. Well, this can be executed from everywhere. Okay, that's true. I mean, I just wanted to create the folder only to have it ready, or to have it ready and prepared to work on it. Okay, so once we install the Firebase tools, we'll need to log in as it shows here using the tool itself, and we'll need to initialize the function system. Once we do this, this is the final structure, as we can see, that we'll have inside our folder. Okay, this is in my case is the name of my folder, and inside we'll have this structure with another folder. We will have to really modify and work with Cloud Functions on the index.js, because it's there where we will implement our functions. We should always keep in mind the package.json, because inside that file we will be able to include new libraries or APIs for example JOFire. Okay, I will show you how to do it, but it's here like package.json has a similar behavior as Gradle or Cocoa Pod. So you just put the name of the package you want to install in your functions project, in your hosting project, and from that moment on you can import those functions in your app. Okay, of course you have to comply with that have to be compatible, etc. But yeah, well, that's the overall idea. So once it's installed, I thought it was going to take so much time. We'll execute that. We'll have this structure, and then we will also okay, and it's also going to then we'll implement the first lines of the GS and index.js system. It should be implemented already. I'm not sure if it comes already implemented. And afterwards, we'll create this function. That is a function that we can analyze right here, that adds a message to a certain path in our database. You see, database reference. Okay, this is because I didn't use the sudo. Don't forget ever to use the sudo. Yeah, you need privileges. This time it shouldn't take so much time because it's already downloaded. Let's hope it installs quickly. And yeah, okay. And so yeah, I mean, I will create this function that will modify a certain path in my database. As you can see, it's for those who worked with Firebase on JavaScript, it's very similar to its syntax. Yeah? The difference is that the form that we create here, the function, can define the way we can access it. In this case, this function will be accessed as a HTTP request, yeah, with sending as a get variable the text that we are interested in inserting inside the message. Okay, and from here on you can create very, very complex functions. Well, by using HTTP request functions, the problem that we have to address is that the one who calls this function, okay, we shouldn't forget, is waiting for a response. So until it doesn't receive a certain response. In this case, it's a redirect response. Yeah, 303. Until it doesn't receive a response, the sending party will be waiting until it finished the execution of this function. So we have to be aware of that situation. Sometimes it's not it's faster to use it from the app, to modify the database from the app itself, than using these functions. Where it comes, the handy part in these systems comes when we create functions that do not wait for our execution but are listeners. Functions who listen to certain path in the database and execute a certain functionality when it detects a change in the database itself. Those functions are very, very handy. Okay, so okay, once it's installed, okay, we have to follow the Facebook Firebase login. Okay, sorry. So Firebase login, and once we do Firebase login, it will ask us for our credentials. Well, yeah, let's allow to take information about me. It should open your. It will probably open your. It should open your browser, okay, for and wait for a credential. The problem in my case is that it opened it wrongly, and I don't see it. Well, one second. So the system is waiting for authentications. Okay, so what happened is automatically it should open a browser, my browser, in this case open Chrome on the other screen, so I'm bringing it here. And I should choose the account that is related to my Firebase console, which in this case in this one. And I should allow the different permissions that it asks me to access for, and I allow it. And from now on, I'm logged into Firebase command line, so I can work with the backend from my computer. Okay, so I can close this. And as you can see, I'm logged in as 4Unifor, which is my Gmail account. And now the following step is to execute Firebase init functions. Okay, this will initialize my folder to as a mirror. It will like if you are accustomed to use Git, it will clone the backend of the Firebase hosting system, and I will be able to work on it. And then when I'm ready, when I modify something, I can commit or upload it. So my project is the test project. Okay, it will now download it. Do you want to install dependencies? You put yes, and we wait for it to execute. If there is some kind of a problem, it will be probably because we didn't use sudo. Okay, but in any case, well, great, it doesn't show any problem. So it downloaded all these files and created this system. Okay, we can navigate, we can check out what it downloaded, and now we can see that in the folder itself we have a folder called functions, and we can navigate into it. Okay, and as you can see, we are ready to work with. We can now modify the index.js and add whatever we want. So, following step is to work on the file itself. Okay. So to edit the index.js, I will open brackets on that folder itself. So let's open the in documents, Firebase test back, all these. So I'm gonna open it completely, and I will see this complete structure that was downloaded from the previous step. Okay, what I need to work on. First of all, I will work on the index.js, and secondly, I will work on the package.json. Okay, these two are the most important files when it's regarding all the functions, the cloud functions. Okay, and to start with, it is the first step to work with this kind of features, with this feature. Okay, in this case, as I said before, we'll be able to later import JFire into our system. We can even try it right now. I have to remember exactly what was the configurations and the versions, which I think it's 3.8.0. Okay. When we put the this symbol here, we are ensuring that it should take always from there and upwards the version. If I'm not mistaken, it's JFire with in this way. Okay. Now, if we do change the package.json, we have to be inside the functions folder. It's very important, because if we are outside of the functions folder and we execute the deploy, which is what we have to execute when we are ready with the method only deploy only functions, it will probably throw us some kind of an error. Okay, this line here will only deploy the functions we created to the hosting service in Firebase. Okay, right now we don't have any functions. We just added the GeoFire service or GeoFire package into the functions under the package.json system. Oh, well, in this case it worked. Well, maybe because we're not calling it. Great, doesn't matter. If we have some kind of an error, we should be ready to execute this line inside the functions folder, just in case. Okay? Great. So now we'll follow the tutorial itself. We will edit the index.js file in our brackets, and we will add the line themselves. As you can see right now, it only requires, it imports, because it uses require.js package. It right now only imports the Firebase function systems. And we want to create a Firebase admin preference, so we can later on use the database reference. We want to access the database itself with our functions. So we import these lines, which are in general the same for every single case. Okay, we can just recycle them, and then we will, for now, just copy and paste this function itself. Okay, we will put this function itself here, and if everything goes well, it will upload the function into the test project console in the function sections. And you can see right now, well, this in, let's see if I can change the language. I don't know, it's Spanish. So it certainly have some serious problems with the language part, but whatever. As you can see, yeah, okay. As you can see, the function section itself right now has nothing. It says here to start with the tutorial, or if we put here to start with, it will explain us exactly what I told you right now. Okay, so you shouldn't be too worried about it. And once we upload the project, this will disappear and it will start showing the new function that we just uploaded. Okay, so if we do this, it will compile and upload the add message function. Now that add message function, great. Now we can see how there is a small problem. Yeah, because we just declared it, we copied and pasted and we redeclared the line. There is a repeated line, this one. Okay, so here we go. Again, as you can see, when you try to upload the functions and if there is even a compilation error, it throws it to you right here in this moment when you try to upload it. So it's a good thing that we work on the console for these situations. So there is that's the error I wanted to get to. The unexpected error has occurred. It's because, as I said, I modified the package.json imports, and I didn't really uploaded the new package.json system. So to fix it, we will go into the functions and we will execute the npm, the sudo npm system file. No, the deployment. Let's see if we can. And if it doesn't work like this, it's the npm execution. And now it works. Okay, so it's very important to understand that if we made some kind of modification on the package.json, we have to go into the functions folder and there execute the the uploading service. Okay, right now, as you can see, it's creating the function in the server. This can take a while. Okay, it doesn't take too long, but when you have many functions, it takes a while. Okay, so now it says that geofile is not in the npm registry. Why? Because okay, so functions deployed are there. Okay, so you know what? For now we will comment this part, and we'll come back to it once I have the name of the package well defined. Okay, again we upload it, and this time it should work without any problems. Okay, we cannot comment it. Just let's take it off. Okay, now it's completely out. Okay, go. So now it's working. Okay, so it's going to appear in here. Let's refresh. Let's hope it shows now the new the functions. Once the function appears in the console, it will appear like this. You can see more the registry of or its behavior in here. Okay, if there was some kind of an error or etc. As you can see, it shows me already one of the errors that appeared before, and we can see that here in this position here we have the path, the HTTP path to execute the function from an HTTP from a browser. So we're going to copy this and going to pass it here. Okay, now as I mentioned before, the variable that will be used in the get request is the text variable. So once we put text equals to something, it will use it as, and it will save it in this constant, and then we push it into the database. So if we do this, first we just an interrogation, then text equals hello world, then what we should see in the database. So is everything okay? As you can see, deployment complete, everything is okay, it's up there. What we're gonna see in the database tree here, it will appear a new path called add messages, and inside will be pushed the message that I'm going to the hello world. So I'm going to put enter. Now remember, because in the code there is a redirection. Okay, as you can see, it will send us to the following. It will send us to the reference that the snapshot has, which is eventually this path itself. Okay, we don't have to come back here. It will send us there. So let's try it. And yeah, as you can see, it's executed, and it's sending us to see how the path itself was affected. And as you can see, it was added. Now if we go backwards, so you can see all the other ones, this is a new this is the new path with the message. Okay, so with this we completed all the basic execution of one function. We can later on change the function. For example, if we don't want to being redirected, we can put response. Okay, response. Response send thanks, for example, thanks. So if we do this, we should always remember, once we change, we have to deploy it. Each time we change something in there, we have to deploy it. We cannot we have to commit the changes, okay, in the server. Okay, the following tutorial will explain how to incorporate GeoFire and how to add a bit more complicated functions. We have to, and even how to implement a listener function, which is a very interesting functionality. in any case, I recommend to look into the GitHub Firebase Cloud Functions service. Cloud Functions GitHub, which has a very good this one I think it is, has a very good list of examples. Okay, no, it's not. Okay, that's not the one I think. Wait, weird. Generally, it takes me to the right place. 1 second. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, so this list of examples is a very good one because it has the implemented index.js. There is many kind of examples which are in many cases very interesting for our use. The best one is, for example, moderate offensive images or create a chain stripe. Well, there's an extra text moderation, email confirmation, things that sometimes we just need the server to do, import data into big queries. Okay. So these examples are very good examples and are very well documented. So I recommend also to look at those. Okay. So let's see how the changes we did. Let's go backwards. This is the okay. So I go back here into the functions, and I will again insert a new message. I need the path, which is this one here. Copy. Past. Again, hello world. I'm going to put hello world 2022. So now it's not really, well, the response system didn't work. It's not the right one. It has to be a REST response. I just have it in my other example. So okay, in any case, it really, even if it sends an error there, it's probably did the changes on the database. You see, it is inserting it, so it's not really the problem here. Okay, great. I hope the tutorial helped, and keep subscribed for more tutorials.